the left and Boy stayed onside. Here's Mounier. 2-0 Huddersfield Town on the opening day of the Premier League. De Plata's forward. De Plata's got the better. Yeah! And Laurent De Plata scores. Laurent De Plata scores.
It's in the box. It's in there. It's in there. It's there. It's on the run. It's in there. The King of Huddersfield.
Hello and welcome to the drive-in from the Andy Takes That Chance podcast, boys. Your perfect car companion for your drive into the game on Saturday. And this Saturday, Huddersfield Town entertain Leyton Orient. Yes, it's been 90 days since Town's last competitive fixture, which was ironically at home to Leyton Orient. So what's changed since? Well, as Huddersfield Town evolves, so does the drive-in. So we want you to tell us, as the listener, what do you want to hear us talk about? And we'll do the best to accommodate you. So, Killer, we learned all about Leyton Orient on these episodes last season, so there's no need to do that. So instead, let's visit the last time out. So, last time out against Leyton Orient at home, Huddersfield Town lost 4-1. Josh Cromer assisting for both sides as Orient took the spoils in their charge to the League One playoffs. For Town, it was a celebration of a different kind, as a number of players we'd fallen out with over the years were making their way out of the club. Dan Aggie scored twice, Jacob Chapman scored an own goal, and Abdullahi rounded off a miserable day after Josh Cromer had brought it back to 2-1 with a header of sorts. Orient have changed a lot since that day as well. Killer, you spoke to Stevie Nuss from the Orient Outlook podcast, and firstly you asked him to let us know his thoughts on last season.
First up, last season, how do I think it went? A season of two halves, I'd probably say. The first kind of 3 months we struggled, we had to adapt, we had lots of new signings that came in to the squad, and it took them all a while. But once we got to December, and ironically, probably after the home defeat to Huddersfield, where we lost 2-0, after that, things really changed, and the following game would be Oldham 2-1 in the FA Cup second round, and our keeper scored a header, and that seemed to be the catalyst for a resurgence. We had an amazing December, winning 7 games out of 8 and drawing the other one, not conceding a goal, and that really seemed to spur the team on and give us the confidence to drive forward. And I think fair to say we never really looked back after that. We had Man City in the FA Cup in the fourth round after knocking out Derby on penalties, and we gave them a hell of a game. And again, that seemed to give the team inspiration to really believe in themselves. And a lot of the summer signings really started to come good. Charlie Kelman, in the turn of the year, went from being a fairly decent striker in League One to being the man in League One. Jamie Donnelly, on loan from Tottenham, seemed to turn into an assist king. Dan Aggie came into form after an injury. And we really drove forward as a club, as a squad, and deserved to make the playoffs, which we did. Obviously, we had to go to Huddersfield last game of the season, knowing the win would seal our 6th place finish. And in the end, because Reading lost to Barnsley, it was inconsequential. But obviously, as you all know, we came to Huddersfield and we had a great day. We won 4-1, fairly non-dramatical game, which is very strange for Orient. And we finished in the playoffs. Went to Stockport after drawing our first home playoff tie, 2-2, all quietly confident. Had a great night at Stockport, beat them in the end on penalties, and found ourselves going to Wembley against old London foes Charlton, where it's fair to say we delivered on the day. A massive anticlimax. Didn't really turn up. Neither did Charlton, really. It was always going to be a tight game. 1 goal decided it, and before you know it, it's League One for another season, and one that ended in disappointment. But I mean, in terms of the whole season, when you look back on it, amazing season. Very proud of what Richie Wellens and the squad achieved. It's fair to say that the season has been, or the pre-season has been, a rebuild out of the team that finished the playoff final, and probably a very similar team to the one that you saw in May visit your stadium. 7 of those starting 11 have left the club, whether it was some loan players who've gone back to their parent clubs, or players at Orient who found themselves at the end of the contract or have found themselves in the Championship. So Dan Agyei, who I think, fair to say, destroyed Huddersfield that day, finds himself in the Turkish Premier League. Charlie Kelman since left to go back to QPR and finds himself at Championship Charlton. Ethan Galbraith, who you were linked with, got a move to Championship Swansea. Jordan Brown has gone to Blackpool. Josh Keeley's gone back to Tottenham and subsequently found himself at Luton. So really, really big turnover at the club. But I think on the plus side for Orient fans is that we've gone from having a squad with a lot of loan players who made the first team to a bit of a different way of signing players, where we have gone for League One, or I'd say it's probably fair to say Championship experienced players, for fees or on free transfers, and giving them longer term deals rather than the 2-year deals we've seen. We've got them on 3-year deals, so it's a bit of a mixture of youth and experience. A few loan signings I've crept into the squad. So we've got Tommy Simkin on loan from Stoke as a keeper, very highly rated, part of the England under-20 winners over the summer. So very happy to have Tommy at the club. Our left back, we've got Teo Adaramola from Palace, who was at Bradford last season. He'll start as left back. Centre backs, we've got 5. Whether they'll fit or not remains to be seen. And that was the big question last season, where there was a lot of turnover at centre back partnerships due to injuries and suspensions. Central midfield, we look all set for. We got Backinson from Wickham on a 3-year deal. Looks like a very solid player. We've seen Idris El Mazouni return, who's been at the club twice on loan from Ipswich. He is now a permanent Orient player on a 3-year deal from Ipswich. He is a quality player. We're all very excited about him. Club record signing. Up front, we've got Aaron Connolly. Really excited to see what Aaron Connolly does. He's not really been at League One level before, mainly Premier League and Championship. So very excited about Aaron Connolly. No doubt in my mind he will get goals if we can supply him and if he stays fit for the season. And as you all well know, Josh Koroma, ex-Orient player, has come back home as a 26-year-old after spending 6 years at Huddersfield. We signed him on a 3-year deal. Very excited to see Josh Koroma. So all in all, it's been a very busy season of turnover at Orient. I think there'll be a few more, but as it stands, very, very happy with Orient's summer transfer. Still after that one summer signing where you go, wow. I still don't think, personally, I felt that as an Orient fan. Others have though, to be fair. Idris, big signing of intent. Koroma, big signing of intent. Backinson, big signing of intent. Dimitri Mitchell from Exeter, again, left winger, been there, done that, good pedigree. But for me, it's still not that wow signing. But obviously, I mean, you guys got big money. Alfie May is that wow signing. Orient are never signing Alfie May. But we've signed some good nucleus of squad players. So yeah, all in all, very happy. Honestly, this season for Leyton Orient, absolutely no idea what lies ahead. Last season was a roller coaster of a season. We'd never foreseen a playoff push. But then once that squad started clicking, we knew we had a very, very good side potentially on our hands. So very happy with that. But like I said, massive turnover at the club. Expectations this season, I wouldn't say quietly confident of a playoff push. I'd say could do a playoff push. I think last season, although we were excellent, we never challenged really the top 2, as you wouldn't expect. And I think a lot of teams under-delivered last season. When you look back, Huddersfield under-delivered, Barnsley under-delivered, Bolton did, Peterborough did, Rotherham did. A lot of teams who you would expect would have been vying for those playoff places didn't happen, and that gave us the opportunity to go and have a push. I think it'll be the same this season. I think we definitely have a squad capable of doing it. Again, we'd have to be very lucky, I think, with injuries, squad rotations, suspensions. Richie Wellens, for me, best manager in League One, I think without a shadow of a doubt. And amazingly, for me, no one's come in to try to poach him, which flabbergasts me in all honesty. But as long as Richie's at the club, I think we've got a really good chance of maybe making a push. I think things need to align over the course of the season, and last season they did for us. And quietly confident we might be around the playoff places. But again, it would have to be at someone else's expense. But that's the way football works. So quietly optimistic. We are traditionally under Richie, probably traditionally as a club, fairly slow starters to the season. So I don't think you'll see Orient up there early doors. I think normally when you get to January, February is where you normally start to see the best of Orient. And I think that'll be the same this season. So quietly confident. But like I say, still a lot of time for more signings to happen, for that League One as a whole to get stronger, which I think it will. And yeah, looking forward to it. again, score prediction, always very difficult to come up with. I think two strong teams. And again, Huddersfield team, new manager, a lot of turnover there. I feel like this has probably got a score draw for me written on it. Maybe 1-1, possibly a 2-2. I think first game of the season is always exciting. Defences are always slightly off the pace, and I think with Alfie May, for you and Joe Taylor, two good strikers, League One level. I think for us, Connolly and Karoma, who I think for me is probably destined to be involved in the game heavily against his former club, making his debut. I think it could be quite an open game up top. I think Huddersfield will be eager to impress. I think Richie will know strengths and weaknesses. But I think two unknown entities really at this point in the season due to the turnover and changes at both clubs. So I'm going for score draw, 1-1 or 2-2. Say to you, best of luck for the rest of the season, other than the opening day. If you have liked what you've heard, we can be found at Orient Outlook Podcast. We are on all social media platforms at Orient Outlook Podcast for the most part. We can be found all over the place. So give us a follow, give us a like, give us a listen. Best of luck for the season.
All right, so thanks to Steve for that from Leyton Orient. Killer, we've spoke a lot this week, haven't we? We've done a massive season preview, so we want to keep this one quite short and light, don't we? To just give people enough time to digest things. Lee Grant, so the town official YouTube channel has created a match preview, haven't they, where Raj sits across from Lee Grant rather than having the old more traditional press conference, which I think might still be on YouTube eventually. What did you make of what Lee Grant had to say in the post-match? I think we heard that Anthony Evans is going to be out for around eight weeks, isn't he? So that's the first order of business, and Jacob Chapman's out injured as well. So those two will be missing. But anything else take your ears?
Not particularly. I think Lee Grant is pretty formulaic with the way he speaks. He's good and it comes across well, but it's not necessarily as insightful as we've had previously from Michael Duffo. I think gave quite a bit away in his press conferences. Yeah, you got to read between the lines, and it was there. You're not going to get that with Lee Grant. You're going to get a little bit more professionalism and keeping things close to his chest. I think over time we'll be able to look at his press conferences and hopefully pick a few things out. But for now, going into the first game, it's pretty much what we expect in regards to injuries, other than Evans missing out. And obviously there's a couple of bumps. So Ledson's potentially not 100%, is he, after suffering an injury? And okay, he got a few minutes last week, but how ready will he be for Saturday? Who knows until we see the lineup an hour before kickoff. But no, I think Grant seems as excited about the season starting as I am, Matt. I didn't think I would be, especially going into this Orient game after getting embarrassed by them last time out at home, to be the first game again at home and actually be looking forward to it in regards to getting a positive result and a positive performance. It's quite a change, and I didn't really expect to find myself here.
Okay, Killer. It's time, isn't it? So we've obviously done away with a few sort of features that we did on the drive-in last time. However, we've kept this one. Yes, we're back to the tactics board. So it's difficult, isn't it, the very first game of the season, to sort of understand how Leyton Orient might line up in this one. So what we sort of gleaned from last season really was that Richie Wellens liked to play 4-2-3-1 at home and then go with a back three away. And I'm sort of leaning towards that that's the way he'll do. I know he's had a massive turnover in players. So Orient have lost a lot of key players. They've lost Keeley, Galbraith, Brown, Kelman, Dan Aggie and Jamie Donnelly, who were all massive players for them. And they have tried to replace them. So bear with me. So in goal is probably going to be Simpkin. Yeah, he's played the majority of games in pre-season. And I think they'll go for a back three again. Romani Edmonds-Green will probably play in and amongst that. Omar, Beckles and Cooper. That's pretty similar to the back three that played at our place, or is the back three that played at our place last season. The two wing-backs, so they've got James. Tom James has come in. He's more of a full-back than a wing-back, but he could potentially fill in that slot, which was where Ethan Galbraith played against us. And on the left, they've signed Adaramola from Crystal Palace on loan, who spent a little time at Bradford last season on loan and was one of the most standout players for Bradford. In midfield, they will go with Idris El Mazouni and probably Tyreek Bakinson, I think, in that area there. who sat nicely and picked the ball up and distributed. So that's a very new midfield partnership that they could be looking towards. And then I think they'll go with 3 up front as well, similar to how they played at our place. The Charlie Kelman role will be taken by Aaron Connolly. And then on either flank of him will probably be our old friend Josh Karoma and Dimitri Mitchell. So that's not a bad front 3 killer. The way Orient will try and play, they'll try and play on the counter and they'll break with pace, won't they? Town themselves will go 4-2-3-1. That seems to be the Grant formation. So we've talked at length, haven't we, about this on all the pre-season stuff. So again, we'll keep this brief because I don't want to be at risk of boring people with the same thing over again. We think Goodman will take the goalkeeper jersey. The 2 centre-backs is probably more difficult to work out, but I think Jack Watmore is probably the first starter on the right-hand side here. And then the centre-back that'll partner him will probably played against Burnley, so we'll probably stick with that. The left-back, I think Sean Rowan had a slight issue and was telling people in the stands who were speaking to him that he'll be back next week. That was at the Burnley game. So I think Sean Rowan will play at left-back. And then that leaves Lyndon Gooch on the right. I think Ryan Ledson will play killer in midfield. So I think Ledson will play next to Herbie Kane. Marcus McGuane hasn't played yet, so I don't think he'd throw him straight in for a start, but he may appear off the bench. The number 10, Town have been linked with Leo Castledine. Even if that happens tomorrow, as we think it probably will, it'll and Wiles that will start because he's obviously not trained with us yet and not done the early work. So one thing that I picked up from Lee Grant's interview with Raj, he sort of said we do a lot of work earlier in the week on. It comes in at the end of the week. It's very unlikely that they're going to play at the weekend. Someone comes in. Yes, so someone comes in at the end of the week and they haven't done the work during the week. It's unlikely. And then Alfie May just seems to have the. I think maybe just has a little bit of a nod over Taylor at the minute. A little bit more experience. So that's the way we think they'll line up. Marcus Harness on the right. Ruben Roskin probably on the left-hand side, or they went off. I think it was cramped, didn't he, against Burnley? So the way Town will attack is Alfie May will occupy and try and look to get past the middle and then down the side of both centre-backs. Ruskin will come across onto the far left. Lyndon Gooch will push right up. So this is an attack onto the right-hand side, pushing their wing-back further back, which will probably force Orient into a back 5, and then potentially that low block that I mentioned in pre-season at times. We'll then have is Ben Wiles will come and pick up towards the left. Marcus Harness will then come in towards the right. So then you'll have Wiles and Harness being picked up by the 2 defensive midfielders, and all of a sudden Orient are pushed quite. And Ledson will then push up to try and pen in Leyton Orient, and then the back 3 will slide across rugby league style to cover a lot of the space, and then into the areas to try and distribute and change the point of attack. So Town, what they may do is they may be a lot of shifting the ball from side to side, and then a lot of crossfield balls going over, trying to move the Leyton Orient defence from left to right, which will then create spaces to play in through and behind. So that's how we think that Town will line up, Killer. Any advances on that team, or is that what you go for as well?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go with it if it was me picking the team. I'd have Ruskin at left back, Rowan in for low at centre back, and I'd have Alfie May wide left with Joe Taylor through the middle, personally. And if Rowan is injured, that'd be the most Huddersfield Town thing going, though, wouldn't it? He played every minute of every game last year for Lincoln, and the first game for us is unavailable. That would be peak Town. But no, Matt, I think that's more or less what we're going to go for. But I did listen to the Richie Wellens press match before recording this. And Dimitri Mitchell will be out. He's out for 4 or 5 weeks, I think. He's got an injury. And there's another 3 or 4 injuries they reckon that will struggle to play for Orient on Saturday. So they're going to be pretty light. And he was speaking about how they've rebuilt the squad and how their expectations have to change this year, because obviously last year was fantastic for them. It shows you the size of clubs, doesn't it, where Leyton Orient finished 6th. And yes, they made the final, but it was a fantastic year for them. But this year's quite difficult for them. Last year they started, Matt, losing 6 of the first 9. And then when it came to before the playoff, the final 6 games obviously ended beating us at our place. They'd won 6 in a row. They struggled a little bit in the playoffs whilst they got past Stockport, and Charlton did them pretty well in the final. But this is a very different Orient team. But they can't be underestimated either. I watched the highlights, or their extended highlights of a friendly they played against Watford last week, where they drew 1-1, and Sonny Perkins played wide right, Karoma wide left, and Connolly down the middle, and they caused Watford loads of problems. Karoma drifted in from the left exactly like the role he used to have with us, where he kind of had that free rein, a bit like where on the right-hand side this time. Matt Karoma does it on the left-hand side for Leyton Orient. So they will be dangerous in attack. They've got a very similar defence that they had last year. They've also got a guy they've brought in on loan from Man United that they're quite excited about in Jack Moorhouse, who plays centre midfield, but I don't think he'll be starting this weekend unless there are injuries elsewhere. But no, it's a different Orient side that doesn't have the proven commodities that they ended with last year, like I say, with Kelman and everybody else that really did well in League One at the end. But they're not to be sniffed at either. They could be a very good outfit this season. It's just at this moment, who knows?
I didn't realise that about Mitchell. I looked at the Wellens press conference and I had to sign up or something for the Orient player, and I just thought, I'm not doing that. My commitment's not like yours, Killer. So predictions onto the game. So I kind of look at this, and I think where Town's struggle is, we mentioned it in the pre-season show, in terms of creativity, and I think Leyton Orient will get forced into like a back 5 with people deep, and I just think Town might struggle at points to break that down because of the I don't really see anyone with a brilliant final ball, if you like, in Town's team, but Town will commit bodies forward, and it just takes something to break, and then as soon as something breaks, the game opens up then, doesn't it? So, I think if Town get 1 up, I think that won't happen. So it's hard, isn't it, on the first day? I think this might be, I imagine Town will be quite good in little patches and then quite stodgy in others as they get used to this new style of play and the new system. So I think Town will win this game. And I think it'll be 2-0. And I think we might be, at the end of it, in danger of getting overexcited and expecting too much within the first month. That's kind of the way I think we might go on this one. But I think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-0. Goals from Alfie May, just to get people carried away, and probably Ruben Roskin, seeing as I've spent all pre-season saying he's not a left. I imagine he'll come up and I'll get a message from Dave Hartrick when he scores just to needle me. But yeah, that's what I'm going for, mate. How about you?
Similar, Matt. Same things in my head going around there in regards to, I think Orient will be better than we expect them to be, and I think it could be a little bit tougher than a few people reckon. They will score, though. I think Josh Karoma is bound to score against us. I just can't see him not scoring. So I'm going to go 3-1 Town on this one, with 2 Alfie May goals and a Ben Wilesy goal to really bring in a new 10. Then suddenly he steps his game a touch. Right. Well, to be fair, Mike, he didn't do too badly for me last year predicting him to score. So no, I reckon 3-1 Town. But it's one thing saying that, and then next minute thinking, but then Orient could really counter-attack us if they sit deep. The only thing I was considering was that they would go low block and that they'd really sit back trying to feel their way into the season, but their fixtures are tough to start off with. So they've got us, then they're at Wigan, then they've got Wickham in the Cup before Stockport and Plymouth. So it's not like they've got 3 easy games after us, and I'm not saying we're going to be hard or easy, we don't know just yet, but it's not like they've got soft fixtures following where they can try and kind of get used to the new team. There'll be 4 games down the line if they do it that way before they start opening up. So
last season, couldn't it? I guess.
Yeah, so I think they'll come and have a go, and I think them coming to have a go will make it easier for us. I think our concerns this season will be trying to break down teams that try and not have a go against us. But I'll go 3-1, Matt. But it's going to be like Peterborough last year, I think, where, as you mentioned, we're going to get a decent win and then get overconfident, and then we'll see where we're at later on. I just think it's. I think this one's a home win, Matt.
Okay, we're going to keep this one short this week, mainly because we're alternating the format because we want to keep the driving quite fresh. So we'll work on that, and we've just put 3.5 hours of a pre-season preview out, which I'm sure you'll struggle to get past before you get to this. So we'll call it there, mate. Just remember, sign up for the Patreon. You can sign up for free, or you can sponsor, or you can help support the podcast. Sorry. www.takesthatchance.com. And obviously as well, we've got our special announcement as well.
Hey up, it's Nick, Gaz and the K-Maker, your perfect posse of podcast pundits, here to make a very important announcement about our podcast for this season. I've donned my Sunday best because, ladies and gentlemen, the social boys have finally made the big time. After months of blood, sweat and tears and begging, the lads have finally allowed and he takes that chance to merge with us. Yes, that's correct. Two mammoth pods coming together in one blaze of glory. Think Disney and Pixar, but in podcast form and with more pessimism. The Huddersfield Town Social will now be live every Wednesday or Thursday night via the Andy Takes That Chance social platforms. Now, don't worry, it'll be the same old show, same old faces and same old silliness. But this season, we want you guys to get involved. Not already subscribed to us? Then why not? Call yourself a real fan. Get on Spotify and YouTube immediately. But if you get on the www.takesthatchance.com, either for free or extra paid content like Patreon, join us on the community and register your interest. We want you guys to get involved. We want you to come on the show or join us in the online comments. We'll see you guys soon. Our first episode will be after the season curtain raiser against Leyton Orient. He is hoping for a promotion-winning season or at least some half-decent football for the sake of all our sanity. Up the pods and up the town.
There we go. So we're looking forward to that kicking off as well, aren't we? So remember, you can get involved with that show. People will be allowed to come on and get involved, or if you prefer, just get involved with the comments while you're watching live. Killer, that's it for this week. I can hear the music going in the background, and hopefully the town will be off to a flyer.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, they're the pride of the town, and the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.